The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, I'm Lee Burkeen, host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast here at the great DiGiulio Italian Restaurant Brothers here on Perkins Road. Homemade Italian, that's the key word, homemade. Love the food, come here all the time. We got a great guest, Ed Yarnell, pitcher, LSU. Played for the Yankees. Actually went to one of the games that he pitched for the Yankees when Steinbrenner was alive. That was after Martin, the manager, but Ed was playing the Baltimore Orioles. Got a chance to see Will Clark in that game, Jeff Rabelais, Albert Bell. But we're talking about Ed's career and how he was recruited out of Florida at St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, and how he came about to be an LSU Tiger, being from Florida. And he's here in Baton Rouge now to this day, and we'll talk about what he's doing now. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen, your host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast here at Mike Johnson's DiGiulio Italian Brothers Restaurant here on Perkins Road. Great guest, Ed Yarnell, a pitcher, had a great career at LSU under Skip Bertman. From Fort Lauderdale, Florida, played at St. Thomas Aquinas, which is where Michael Irvin went. And by the way, Mason Taylor, LSU's tight end that caught that TD against Alabama. Where did he go? St. Thomas Aquinas. Marlon Martinez, LSU center this year, number 77, went to St. Thomas Aquinas. And so did about 1,000 other D1 football and baseball players. And so did Ed Yarnell.
How's it going, Lee?
Thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
I mentioned this to you the other day. I was at a Yankees game in 2099. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she was from New Jersey. She said, I got tickets to this game. I said, what game do you want to go to? I said, well, I see the Orioles are coming to Yankee Stadium. Will Clark, Jeff Rabelais played at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
All these LSU guys, Albert Bell was on the team. I said, and then Ed Yarnell's pitching. Wow, it's his first start, I think, or it was one of your first starts with him.
Yeah.
The day game.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy game.
Yeah, I think it was my second. I mean, it was 2000, I'm pretty sure. So 99, I was up a little bit, but 2000 was a day game. It was a spot start for David Cohn, who was, shoulder issues here and there, and had the start. And I was staying across the river there in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and being a day game and ball players, we like our mornings a little bit more. Yeah. So I remember the cab ride over, because I was taking a cab across the G-Dub. I was worried about not getting there in enough time. No, not game time, but right. I mean enough for me to warm up and prepare and all. And then, of course, went out there and didn't have the best outing, but the Yankees picked me up. They had a great offense, kind of like LSU did. And but still great experiences, and the relationships and things you forged through it were still they're lifelong.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong, but it was the first Yankees game that I'd went to. 99, 2000, you were pitching daytime. But I was in a crowd of some crazy, determined, pitch by pitch, crazy people. I was thinking LSU fans. Good crazy now. Love the Yankees to the point of, you could tell they were not going to be okay if they lost that day when they went home. Am I wrong? I mean, it's a different breed of fans over there.
Definitely. But, like I said, it's the kind of the high risk, high reward, right? You don't pitch well, you're the worst player on the planet. But if you win the game or win the World Series, you're in the Hall of Fame. And like I said, I was relatively, still am, was an unknown for playing with the Yankees.
Yeah.
But, I go back there, I think 2014, I went back in 2009 when they won it, when they opened the new stadium. But I think 2014, it was funny, me and I went with another couple, and we had field passes. So it's got my name on the field pass. And my buddy and his wife wore it for the game, and he still was like, man, I had like 10 people come up to me, 15 people come up to me, oh yeah, Ed, I remember.
Yeah.
So even though I was only there parts of those 2 years, I mean, if you're there at all, like I said, they remember you and embrace you. Sometimes they're gonna, remind you of the ones that weren't so good, but
You're the one for
that's
life.
the way it is. Yeah,
You're
no
a
doubt.
Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
Tell everybody, Ed, how LSU came to be. You're a Fort Lauderdale guy in Florida at St. Thomas Aquinas, great school.
Mm-hmm.
Who recruited you at LSU? I know Skip was there as a head coach, but how did all this, Skip being from Miami?
Right, of course, Skip, and there's been, numerous guys, Louis Garcia back in the day, Rick Green, the great closer on the first championships from Miami, Tom Bernhardt, Columbus High School, where Paul Maneri and Javi Sanchez also went to school. But Skip knew my high school coach, Ed Waters, who was a longtime baseball guy, actually played some minor league ball with the Yankees. And, early on in my career, in high school, got some exposure on the junior Olympic team, and next thing I know, I'm getting contacted by Skip and, looking at my options. Being down in South Florida, I mean, at the time, Miami was the program.
Yeah.
When I was 10, 11 years old, 85, they win it, and Skip's there.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, it's 92-ish, and they had just won in 91. I was an early commit my senior year, and they win it again in 93. So, I wasn't afraid to leave home and go abroad, and really was looking for that opportunity, like most college athletes, to play at the highest level and compete for a championship.
Yeah. Still involved with baseball to this day.
Oh, absolutely. It's in your blood, man. It's like football guys, basketball,
yeah.
You can't get away from it. And you try to find an avenue to be able to still do that, whether it be job-wise or just in a volunteer-type atmosphere or setting. So absolutely still working with a lot of the youth here in Baton Rouge.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to ask you your pitching background, because some guys are lefties, some guys are righties, some guys are breaking ball, fastball. What was your full game? Talk about that when we come back, and talk about the game today. We don't want to date it because LSU is going to be playing when the show comes out. So we will talk about Omaha, but in a way of not dating it. And hopefully LSU will win the game by the time you watch the show against Tennessee. We'll be right back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report podcast. We've got Ed Yarnell, former LSU pitcher, New York Yankees. And by the way, I didn't know this till today, but he was traded for Mike Piazza. That's a pretty famous deal. Former Dodgers catcher, big-time player.
Hall of Famer. That trade worked out better for the Marlins. I mean, for the Mets than the Marlins. Yeah, I got traded to the Marlins from the Mets.
Third-round draft pick out of out of LSU, was Ed. His first time drafted, 44th round, when they had 44 rounds, huh?
They had as many rounds as you drafted, Lee.
Yeah.
Back then. Right. So each team, they'd go 100 rounds, as long as, not every team had to draft.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to keep picking, you could keep picking back then.
I like the new format, don't you?
I think so. I think it eliminates. I think in the other, major sports, they don't, baseball's the only one that they had 100 minor league guys where, NFL's just got a practice squad. They got the D League or whatever it is with basketball. So I think it's streamlined it a little bit.
Ed played 2 years in the major leagues, 8 years in the minors, and 3 years abroad. Japan, you told me 2 years.
Yeah, lived in Kobe, Japan for 2 years.
What was that like?
Culture shock a little bit, but very interesting. And definitely, I wish everyone got the chance to kind of live abroad, depending, numerous different places. Obviously, Japan was comparable to us in terms of their society and safety and everything, but the culture was so different. It made you appreciate a lot more about what you have back home.
You know any Japanese?
Hajimemashite, watashi wa Eddie desu.
What was that?
It was nice to meet you. My name is Eddie.
There you go.
That's it, dude. So you're there 2 years. You have an interpreter
you gotta
that helps you out. But I mean, I was conversational. You gotta know enough to make sure you're not getting taken advantage of.
Yeah, I hear that. Ed was over 6'3" when he pitched. And tell everybody about your game. There's lefties and righties. Tell everybody what you were, your game.
Yeah, I'm a left-handed pitcher, and primarily, games changed a lot, like we said. Depends on who you talk to. But I was more of a fastball guy. I mean, command wasn't my, forte. I wasn't a spot 'em up guy. I was more of a go after, challenge you, and and you can talk to Skip about this a little bit. It was more like, hey, fastball away, and I go, well, that's a good suggestion, but I'm just going to throw it as hard as I can, and maybe it goes there, maybe it doesn't, but at least I'm going to bring what I got and make guys beat me with my best stuff.
Can't remember, but what was your average on the ball, like 90 or something?
Yeah, I mean, look, the radar guns, and you can say what you want. We have this conversation
location
a lot. But I was 88 to 92, 93, nothing super hard. Back then, that was pretty firm. I mean, Ben McDonald was the benchmark back in the late 80s, early 90s of hard throwers. Now it seems like everyone throws 95, but everyone gets hit. So to me, it's more about reactions from the hitters and whether or not you're getting the results there.
And as a lefty, it was hard to tell how you were coming out of your hand.
For some reason, it's just like in football, right? They talk about a left-handed thrower football-wise. The ball comes out different rotations. It's kind of the same thing. You just don't see it as much, and we're a little bit more unconventional or unique in terms of just how we pitch.
I was a lefty in football.
Okay. Gotcha.
What would you tell a kid watching today? You're training kids to this day. We're going to promote that. And dads that are watching it, like baseball, a lot of football guys that play baseball.
Right.
What would you recommend to a guy who's playing football and trying to do the travel ball baseball at the same time? A lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Any advice to those dads how to make it work?
I mean, look, they have the sports in the seasons of the year for a reason.
Yeah.
Where, we get into the fall and beginning of the year is basketball typically, and football starts, August, beginning of the fall, ends around winter. And of course, baseball starts early spring and goes into summer. My advice would be if they want to play other sports, they don't need to play travel baseball 12 months a year. I mean, there's so much now, and I see it in high school, like they'll wrap up in July, but then they'll have fall tournaments and fall things.
Yeah.
And, you need to give your body not just rest, but use it differently. And I think that helps develop your body awareness, hand-eye coordination, all that. So different sports help in different ways with that. And I really think the more well-rounded athlete is better in whatever that main sport is. It could be football, basketball. I think you learn from the other ones. Now, saying that, I didn't play a lot of football growing up, organized. I played a little basketball. But I also didn't play year-round baseball to the point that they're doing it now. Where
I'm glad you said that. It's too much. All these arm injuries and all the breakdowns.
They come in and they come in with 65, 70 games in the spring. Then they go play another 20 or 30 in the fall. And then the older kids in high school go to these showcases, and it's all about velocity and how hard you hit it. And so the final point, baseball is a little different. It's the finer points. It's the understanding of the game and being, Skip used to call it the HWA, the how to win awareness, or the baseball IQ. Almost outweighs in a lot of times the ability.
Yeah, knowing the game.
Right, exactly.
We're going to be back with more of Ed Yarnell. We're going to talk about, speaking of Skip Bertman, what it was like playing for Skip. And everybody saw the 30 for 30 with Skip, which was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And just what it was like being an LSU Tiger. Any games that might have stuck out to Ed, in his career. We'll be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back, Libra King, the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We've got Ed Yarnell with us, former LSU Tiger, former MLB Yankees pitcher, Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Florida. And look, go to our YouTube and hit subscribe for free and hit the bell, and the bell will alert you with the new shows that we're doing. We're going to be doing 3 or 4 a week now. Right now we were doing 2. We might be doing as many as 5 a week in about a month statewide for baseball and football mainly, and some other sports. But I want to go ahead and get back to Ed. Ed, any story? You're talking about the year Warren Morris had the dramatic home run to beat Miami, but you said that you were warming up to pitch possibly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In that game.
Yeah. I mean, that game is obviously it's the last of my career in college, and I think everyone remembers it's one of those moments. It's the Billy Cannon back. When we knew where we were when the Billy Cannon run happened. Well, the Warren Morris homers kind of. I still have people say, "Man, I was driving back from the beach, or I was in Disney, or whatever." So
Japan or wherever.
Right. But so yeah, I had pitched the first and third game of that tournament, and back then it wasn't best out of 3; it was winner take all in the final, and we're playing Miami down. Actually tie game. Hey, you got to bang a few pots, right, to make it taste good, taste better. But it's tie game in the 8th inning, actually top of 9. And they get a guy on second base, T.R. Marcinzek, and I'm warming up in the bullpen, and Alex Cora, who's the manager of the Red Sox now, was a switch hitter, and obviously he hits more left-handed because he faces more righties, and probably better as a lefty hitter. So I'm warming up in the bullpen with Mike Bianco down there, and I'm ready to go. And Skip walks out, does his walk, and I kind of flip by with the ball. I think you might even see me warming up in that Hold the Rope documentary or the 30 for 30. There's been a couple. And he walks out there and he turns around and I'm ready to go. I'm ready for him to put his hand up, and he walks back in the dugout. I'm like, Bio looks at me and I look at him. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, I think Patrick leaves a fastball up out over the plate for a base hit, and they score the go-ahead run. So fast forward years later, I forget where we're at a baseball function, and I'm talking to Coach, and I'm like, Coach, what was the deal with the? Yeah. He goes, look, really, I went out there and told Patrick we were going to try to walk Alex, see if he chased, and he just left a fastball up over the plate, got the base. I said, well, look, Coach, you know this. I mean, he always tells us he's the star anyway, and everyone comes to see him. I said, well, look, it worked out pretty good for you. I mean, it's only the biggest home run in college World Series or college baseball history, so it just elevates you a little bit more, and he kind of give you that smirk, and I said, so it's fine. I would have liked to have had the opportunity, but look, we're a team, and the team picked each other up, and it was pretty fun.
So today, you got all this travel ball, like we talked about. People can, do the guns and all that, and you go to this all-star game, that all-star game. But when you were playing back in the day at St. Thomas, Fort Lauderdale, you actually probably had some college coaches come by, right, back in the day.
Sure, there's some college and professional, but way different. Now they know their analytics, the spin rate, the velocity. What'd you throw in high school? I said, really? I honestly don't know. I mean, a radar gun back then was rare.
Right.
And if you saw one, it was more of the pro guy, not even the college guy that had them. So definitely, I don't envy the guys now because you're under such a microscope at such a young. I mean, we got 12, 13-year-olds that are being recruited where we don't know where that's going to end up. So, but at the same time, I try to, enlighten or, educate these young guys as much as I can on my experiences and what helped me.
You and Bill Daly are still training the youth of today, guys that are going to go on and be great players or just be good high school players. Talk about what y'all are doing right now and what's going on with training with you now, Ed.
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, so a lot of the youth, I mean, it's really 8, 9 years old all the way up through college, pro ball, even guys come back in pro ball to work over there, and it's not necessarily we've got the magic recipe.
Yeah.
It's more about, hey, thought process, having a plan, being able to try to execute that plan, and when you don't, how to make those adjustments. So yeah, I mean, look, like I said, it's in our blood. I think we do a pretty good job of bringing some of these parents that are, my kid's going to be the next fill in the blank. Mike, like, look, let's just focus on the next year. To which I worked with Aaron briefly in high school when he was in high school back over, years ago. So just having them, realize like it's about now, and long-term goal, yes, that could be it. But right now, let's just keep practicing and getting better, because our mindset is nobody's good until they pay you to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So when we're 13, really, no, you're not. Now, I used to be able to say, look, LSU's not good. Yeah. Well, now they're getting paid a lot, so I can't really say that with them, because they're getting paid now to do it. But at the same time, it's just trying to keep them grounded in perspective and really work ethic.
Tell everybody how they can get in touch with you or Bill Daly if they want to hire you for some training. Yeah, I mean,
look, it's pitch by pitch baseball is Bill's deal, but if you go on, Facebook or social media, he's got some avenues there, and then obviously I have my contact info and everything on there too, so it's not real hard to find. But we're kind of been a lot of word of mouth. We don't do a ton of big time of marketing or trying to pull people in, which we like. I mean, we're not turning people away, but we're a little selective on the guys, and want to make sure you're serious and willing to work. So,
speaking of minor leagues, a lifer there, I was looking at the stats. I don't know, because this guy was in it so long. Harry Barrios, one of your former guys there.
Yeah.
What did he play, like 20 years in the minor leagues?
Yeah, Harry was I got there right when he left, but I know Harry, and he was kind of like the Crash Davis of minor leagues. I mean, he holds a lot of independent ball and minor league records, which, look, I mean, if you're willing to make the sacrifice and do it, like I tell guys all the time, if I was still physically capable and able to do it at that level, I'd be playing right now. I mean, you play it until till you're done.
Yeah. LSU, real quick, Omaha. It's not a lot of arms for what they're facing. The Wake Forests have like 9 starters on their roster. Tennessee has about 9 starters. They're playing Beam while this is going on.
Right.
The show. I mean, hopefully they win this game when you watch this show, and they're playing another game. But to beat Wake Forest twice, if they beat Tennessee, it's going to take the bats exploding, huh?
Yeah, tall task at all. And like I was talking before, it's the little things. You can't walk guys. You got to be able to make a slide or have that HWA or that awareness on the field. Most of the time, it's not in my case in '96, it was the homer with 2 outs that won it. Yeah. But there was other plays in that game that afforded us that opportunity. And they're going to have to get hot with the bats, and we're going to have to score a lot, because it's going to have to help the arms out. And I think those guys are more than capable to step up, all of them, on the mound and at the plate. But that's what separates a good team from a championship team.
Yeah.
Do it when you have to do it, and consistently grind it.
Just for fun, last question I'll have for you, just for MLB fun. With a little bit of MLB you've watched this year, who's your team that you think Mike can win it? If you were guesstimating.
Well, I mean, I got to go with the Yankees, of course, Lee. I mean, and I know you're a Yankee guy.
Yeah,
and
I'm a Yankee guy.
Now, I played for 9 organizations, but of course, the only one in the big leagues was the Yankees. I mean, so my heart always is with New York. If they can get healthy and stay healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Judge, 6'7", 275, his toes bothering him.
Stanton.
So it's these little,
Stanton, who's 6'6",
these little things. But I mean, I think New York's got as good a chance as any. Obviously, Atlanta's playing well. The Reds are a surprising upstart team. Obviously, Houston, they've been slumping lately. The Phillies are getting hot. So it's the same thing in pros as it is in college. It's who plays the best. It's not the best team. Who plays the best at the end. But my money's still with New York.
DJ LeMahieu, LSU guy.
Yes, sir.
His battle get hot. It's been over 3 the last 5 years.
Yeah, he does pretty well there.
And Nola's with Philly. You mentioned Philly. Right. And then Jake Fraley's killing it with Cincinnati.
He is.
He's having this crazy year.
Yep, you just never know. Guys hang around and get opportunities. And eventually, it's not that they figure it out, but they just get more comfortable.
That's when LSU can go anywhere and sign a baseball player. Where's Fraley from? Delaware.
Yeah.
You didn't think I knew that baseball-wise.
Delaware, that's right.
Delaware and kicking butt with the Reds. And I'm also a fan of Trout. So I hope Anaheim, Ohtani and him, they get a little help in the pitching department.
Yeah, that'd be nice for Mike to he committed to them, and hopefully they can get it done too with that crew over there. It's been a little rough for them.
If not the Yankees, I'll go Anaheim. Appreciate you, Ed.
All right, man. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Lee.
you, Ed Yarnell. Be sure to, if you're a dad watching or a kid, you want some training, Bill Daly, former LSU third base coach, works with Ed. He was a former Tiger pitcher. And again, Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida is where he's from. Appreciate everybody, and we'll see everybody soon.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.